It's all organized. Thank you.
I tried.
Thank you.
Yes. And it was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Good evening. I'm going to call this meeting of the Berlin Township Board of Zoning Appeals to order. And tonight, the purpose of tonight is to conduct a hearing for a conditional use for application number CU 2604 for property parcel number 418-110-01-022-000. And the applicants requested a conditional use from section 2416 of the Township Zoning Resolution to allow for expanded home occupation and appointment-only tattoo studio. Before we begin, I'd like to have a stand and do Pledge of Allegiance, if we could. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you have just come in, if you wouldn't mind signing in, by the way, that'd be great. All right, and I remind everyone, this is a quasi-judicial hearing. The board will hear a presentation from the township staff, followed by the applicant. We'll have questions from the board, public testimony, and then some board deliberation. The burden is on the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the conditional use standards for Berlin Township Zoning Resolution. With that said, before we get into it, I will ask the court reporter if you can make sure the court Board of Zoning Appeals reporter to read in any articles into exhibit that were made available today, and then did we advertise as well?
Yes, it was advertised on the township website on June 1st, 2026, and the township Facebook page on June 4th, 2026. I think, so we have the application, will be exhibit 1, and then the staff report will be exhibit 2. Have we received anything else yet tonight?
We didn't receive anything else.
Nothing else? Okay.
And what was the response to the section 24.116? Is that part of the staff report, or is that separate?
That's part of the application.
Part of the application. Great. Okay, so I will ask staff to share the report, and I will bring the plans.
Sure. Thank you, Jason. So today we are here for BZA CU 26-004. As you said, the applicant is requesting to operate an appointment-only tattoo studio within an existing accessory structure in accordance with section 24.16 of the Berlin Township Zoning Resolution. It's an expanded home occupation. The site is 455 North 3Bs and K Road, Sunbury, Ohio 43074. Subject parcel totals 3.51 acres and is located on the west side of North 3Bs and K Road, approximately a quarter mile down a common access drive shared with one other home. The surrounding zoning to the north is farm residential FR1, which includes a common access drive and then residential homes to the north of that on Linden Lane. To the south of the property, there's 3 zonings. There's U.S. land as part of Allen Creek Lake. There's farm residential, FR1, and then also transitional planned unit development, which is part of the future Bluffs at Allen Creek, which is developing currently. To the east is farm residential FR1, and also to the west is The next page of the staff report, you will find the auditor site zoomed out to give you an idea of where this is located in the township, just to the northwest of the 36, 37, and 71 interchange, into the east of Mountain Creek Lake. On the next page, you'll see the auditor site zoomed in, which shows the subject home and then accessory building to the right of that. Part of the application, the applicant did include a layout of the proposed tattoo studio. This is Exhibit 1 within the accessory structure. Taking up the left-hand side there, highlighted in red of the pool house. Next page, you'll see some site photos for reference. This is something we did at Orange Township to give the board a better idea of the property and surrounding area. So you can see here the access to the driveway off of 3 Beacon McKay down this gravel road. On the next page, you will find the home and the accessory structure location, and then also the current parking area where the residents, and then also where the customers will be able to park. On the next page, you will find the exterior of the proposed or the current accessory structure where the business would take place, and then the interior, Exhibit 7 and Exhibit 8 are photos of where the tattoo business would take place within the accessory structure. Staff summary. So the subject property is zoned FR1, farm residential. While limited home occupations are permitted use in the district, not permitted within detached and accessory structures. As the proposed tattoo studio will be located within an existing accessory structure, staff determined that the application is more appropriately classified as an expanded home occupation. Expanded home occupations are listed as a conditional use within the FR1 district pursuant to section 7.04A of the Township Zone Resolution. Section 24.16 of the zoning resolution establishes standards for expanded home occupations, and the applicant has provided responses addressing the criteria contained in section 24.16A through J, and that is included within the application materials that you have. In summary, the applicant indicates that the proposed tattoo studio will operate entirely within an existing accessory structure with no exterior modifications. The business will be operated solely by the applicant, with clients served by appointment only, and no other employees proposed. No outdoor storage is proposed. Parking will be accommodated on site, and the applicant states that the use will not create excessive traffic, noise, odors, glare, vibration, or other impacts that would adversely affect neighboring properties. The applicant further indicates that all tattoo-related waste will be handled and disposed of in accordance with the Delaware General Health District requirements. And the proposed studio would occupy approximately 34% of the accessory structure, remaining below the 50% maximum floor area permitted for an expanded home occupation. And of course, the applicant is here to answer further questions when we get to that one. The board considerations: the BZA shall evaluate the application in accordance with the conditional use criteria contained in section 32.07D of the Berlin Township Zoning Resolution. If approved, the applicant must comply with all conditions imposed by the Board of Zoning Appeals, as well as all applicable provisions of the Township Zoning Resolution. Failure to comply with the terms of the conditional use permit shall constitute a zoning violation. No conditional use shall be established until a zoning compliance permit has been issued by the zoning inspector, and any signage associated with the use shall comply with the applicable sign regulations of the zoning resolution. The Township Fire Department did review the application. They had no comments. And then after that is the board analysis for your conditional use. Yeah. So that concludes the staff.
So,
Mr. Azevedo, would you like me to call roll?
oh yes, I'm sorry. Call roll.
Jason Azevedo,
Here.
Michelle Cook, here. Larry Hartman,
Here.
Brad Cook,
Here.
Quinn Maka,
Here.
Jessica Kinsley, here. Stephen Anderson?
Here. I asked the applicant to present their information. If you could step forward.
Should I stand?
So we need to read.
Yeah, you have to. Yes.
This where.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Zach. I'm a tattoo artist. I operate out of Columbus. Been doing it for about 5 years. First and foremost, I apologize for being here on work today. Apologize for some of you guys for having to come. But
Sir, could you give your full name and address
Yes.
just for the record?
William Isaac Bethel is my full name, and my address is 455 North 3Bs and K Road in Sunbury, Ohio. And yeah, you know, I just want to keep this very simple and brief. I feel like all the information that I have to provide to you has already been provided to you guys. I can provide some clarification on that. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is I want the opportunity to be able to work from home. Now, a lot of people can just open up their laptop and do that, but for me, because of the nature of my job, there are certain hoops that I want to comply with, such as the Delaware Health Department. I want to make sure that they come, they check it out, and make sure everything I'm doing is within compliance. But also, first and foremost, they won't even come unless I have the approval from you guys. So I hope to just get approval from the community and approval from you guys to be able to do this. I would also like to state my intentions here. I'm not trying to like run a huge business and like have people coming in and out with flashing signs. I feel like when people think of tattoo studio, they have like these preconceived notions on what that looks like. For me, I like to work alone. I like to work in a very small, controlled, private environment. The clients that I work with, they do travel far to come see me. I work with a very limited number of them. A lot of them are friends, a lot of them are long-term clients and family. And what I'm trying to do is I just want to have a space, you know, close to home where if I choose to, I can invite those people that I would be comfortable showing them where I live. And to be able to work from home if it calls for it. Again, I do travel to Columbus to work every day, Monday through Thursday. So I'm on the road for about an hour to an hour and a half each day. And if I can, you know, minimize that and spend some more time at home with my family, that's what I'm trying to do. So again, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to, you know, invade anybody's privacy, nothing like that. I feel like what I proposed is pretty reasonable, and if not, I'd be very happy and willing to try to convince you otherwise.
So if I could ask a couple questions.
Sure,
So
yeah.
first, just to make a comment, our job as a BZA is not to determine whether or not what you're trying to do is desirable or not.
Sure.
Our job is to actually see if you're in compliance with what our zoning resolution is
Okay,
relative
sure.
to what you're applying for. So I just wanted to make that comment. You did provide some information in the packet, and for us to make a decision, it was in zoning section 24.16. There are like 10 criteria, that A through J. I think it would be helpful for us to just go through that and
Sure.
for you to just
Yeah.
give us your reply on each of those items. If I have a copy of it, if you want to refer to it, because I don't know if you
Yes, please.
there.
And it's okay if I kind of read from here?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So I believe there is A through, I think, J. Yes, there's A through J. I can just read these through if you'd like.
And I can read what the criteria is, and you can tell me your response. Okay. So A, the home occupation shall be carried on within the confines of residential structures within zoning districts that specifically list expanded home occupation as a conditional use, and or within architecturally compatible accessory buildings which are customarily associated with residential use and character of the neighborhood.
To which I respond, the proposed tattoo studio will be operated as a home occupation on my residential property. The business will be conducted within an existing accessory structure, which is a house located on the property. No exterior modifications are planned that would alter the exterior appearance of the structure. The structure is architecturally consistent with a primary residence. The structure is architecturally consistent with the primary residence and not a separate commercial building, but rather an existing residential accessory building being repurposed in a manner that maintains the character of the property
and should not be seen by anyone as my driveway is private and my house is a quarter-mile long on it.
B, there can be up to 3 non-resident employees as determined by the Board of Zoning Appeals. BZA determination will be based on the following criteria: potential impact on the neighborhood, property size and shape, layout of the proposed building and parking setbacks for property lines, and no non-resident employees shall be allowed for properties less than 3/4 of an acre in size.
To which I respond, there will be no employees, as I operate this business as an individual artist working with one client at a time. The operation will generate minimal traffic, will not create any additional impact on parking or surrounding properties beyond that of a typical residential use. The tattoo studio will be inside an existing building in the center of my 3.52 acre property. There will be plenty of out-of-sight off-road parking available. The nearest house to the proposed business site is 570 feet away.
No outside storage of any kind associated with the home occupation conditional use shall be permitted unless it's totally screened from the adjacent residential lots in a abutting street.
Yes, so only one sign will be erected advertising the home occupation. The sign may be mounted, oh wait.
Storage, outside storage.
C.
Oh, yeah, I got you. There will be no outside storage of any kind needed to operate this business.
And then D is only one sign may be erected for advertising the home occupation. The sign may be mounted flat against a building or pole in the front yard. The sign should be of a design compatible with residential character, shall not be animated or lighted, and shall comply with the requirements as specified in Article 25, Section 25.02B.
Yes, and my intentions are to only put one sign up used to advertise my business, and it will be mounted flat against the proposed building to assure clients that they've entered the correct area. And this will not be seen from any neighbors or from the main road.
The next section is about parking demands created by conduct of the home occupation shall be met with parking located off the street other than in a front yard. Off-street parking may be permitted in a side yard or rear yard, but should not be located any closer to the street than the required setback line. Parking surface shall be consistent with materials used for surfaces of parking, driveways, or surrounding properties. The required number of off-street parking spaces shall equal the spaces required for residential use plus those required for commercial use, which constitutes the home occupation. If no parking requirement is given for a particular home occupation, the parking requirements for the most similar commercial use shall be used in order to calculate the required minimum number of spaces.
And I would say all parking associated with the proposed home occupation will be accommodated off-street on the property. Existing driveway and on-site parking areas will be utilized to serve both residential use and home occupation. No parking will occur within the public street or within the front yard. Any client parking will be directed to the designated areas located in compliance with the required setbacks. The parking surface will remain consistent and existing residential character of the property and the surrounding neighborhood. Due to the event-only nature of the business, traffic will be minimal and limited to just one client at a time, as I said before, resulting in negligible impact on parking demand.
No equipment, process, or storage associated with home occupation shall create odors, noise, vibration, glare, electrical interference, or other nuisance detectable to normal senses off the lot. All activities, materials, and equipment associated with the business shall be totally maintained within a building. In the case of electrical interference, no equipment or process shall create visual or audible interference in any radio, television receivers, computers, handheld wireless devices, or other audio appliances used off the premises, or cause fluctuation in line voltage off the premises. No equipment, process, or storage associated with the home occupation shall create any fire or explosion hazard, or involve the storage or use of any hazardous materials in a concentration greater than that which would be normally found in a home containing no home occupation.
The proposed home occupation will be conducted entirely within an enclosed structure and will not be producing any detectable odors, noise, vibration, glare, or any other nuisance beyond the property boundaries. All equipment and materials associated with the business are typical of a small appointment-based tattoo studio and do not generate any offset impacts. The operation is quiet in nature and does not involve any heavy machinery or processes that would create disturbances to neighboring properties. No hazardous materials will be used or stored beyond those normally associated with the residential environment, and all materials that will be handled, and stored in a safe, compliant manner. The use will not create any fire, explosion, hazard. The business will operate fully indoors with no outdoor activity storage or operations.
And then solid or liquid waste materials shall not be created on the premises at a level greater than normal to the residential use, unless provisions for the disposition of said waste are acceptable to the Delaware General Health District and do not create a burden on adjoining property.
The proposed home occupation will not generate solid or liquid waste at the level that exceeds typical residential use without proper handling procedures. Any waste associated with the tattooing process, including sharps and other regulated materials, will be handled, stored, and disposed of in accordance with the requirements of the Delaware General Health District. Appropriate containers and disposal methods will be utilized to ensure all materials are managed safely and in compliance with the applicable health regulations. All waste management practices will be conducted in a manner that does not create any impact or burden on adjoining properties. For reference, it typically takes me a full week of work to fill just one standard 13-gallon trash bag with business-related waste, and this is not a problem for my current garbage containers.
No activity shall be conducted or permitted which creates a nuisance to neighboring properties.
The proposed home occupation will be operated in a manner that does not create any nuisance to neighboring properties. The business will be conducted in an appointment-only basis with limited client volume and no walk-in traffic. All activities will take place indoors. There will be no outdoor waiting areas or gatherings. Traffic noise and overall activity levels will remain minimal and consistent with normal use of a residential property, ensuring no negative impact on the surrounding neighborhood. And again, I'd like to add, I don't really plan on advertising online. These are more for my very private, long-term clients and family friends.
The use of the dwelling unit for the home occupation shall be clearly incidental and subordinate to its use for residential purposes by its occupants, and not more than 20% of the total floor area of the dwelling unit shall be used in the conduct of the home occupation, nor more than 50% of the floor space of any garage or accessory.
And I would say that proposed home occupation will remain clearly incidental and subordinate to the primary residential use of the property. The business will be conducted within a portion of the existing accessory structure of the pool house, and the area utilized for home occupation will not exceed 50% of the total floor space in that structure. The remaining space will continue to function in a manner consistent with residential use, ensuring the overall character of the property remains residential in nature. This building is roughly 33 feet by 42 feet, or 1,386 square feet. The area that I'm proposing as a tattoo studio is only about 480 square feet.
No traffic shall be generated in substantially greater volumes than would be generated by a single-family home.
Yes, the proposed home occupation will not generate traffic in volumes greater than that would typically be expected from a single-family residential property. The business will operate strictly on an appointment basis only. The clients is scheduled individually to avoid overlap. This will result in minimal intermittent traffic comparable to normal residential activity, such as guests visiting the home. No walk-in traffic will be permitted. And there will be no accumulation of vehicles to increase in traffic patterns that would impact the surrounding neighborhood. Again, I typically only tattoo one client a day. I work Monday through Thursday. Not all of these clients I do plan on tattooing here. I do plan on keeping my space, in Columbus as well.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add or go over from the application?
I think that about covers it.
I'll ask the board, what questions do you have for the applicant?
Can you share where the main entrance to the building is? I see that there's one entrance, looks like it's on the back of the building.
Yeah, so there's actually a door on the back side, and if you don't mind, there's this, and it covers with the red, which I apologize. There's a sliding glass door from the front, so you would enter directly into the front here.
Is there, the reason I'm asking is that there is a pool that's right out front of those doors, correct?
Yes, it's probably like 20 feet away from the entrance.
The plan was to have everybody walk in around the pool.
Yeah, so, my house would be kind of like where your iPad is, and if this is the driveway, it would essentially just walk across around the pool and into there. There's gonna be like a little walkway for it.
Quick question, I'm not sure if it matters, but I'm curious, are you setting this up as a business with a tax ID number and the whole shot as opposed to just a facility or in your home, outside your home?
Right, so, that's a good question. So I actually have an LLC, there is a, the tax number, that's associated with it. Where I'm at right now, well, I'll start by saying there are two different ways tattoo artists really typically operate. They sometimes work for like a shop owner, and they don't have to have like an LLC or anything like that. They can just operate as an employee. What I have been doing for the last few years is I just work for myself. I have an LLC with a tax number, and what I do is, I operate by myself, so I pay for my own insurance. I'm just renting a space in Columbus. So in theory, I would still keep that space, but I would also just be able to have another place to tattoo approved, and I would just operate in the same way that I do now, if that answers your question.
So when you talk to the health officials of Delaware County, you'll be presenting it as a business operating within the.
They'll ask for my business information, but yes, they're mostly concerned with, is the space that you're going to be operating, is it up to code? Does it have the correct paint on the walls? Are the surfaces capable of, are the surfaces up to compliance as well? Like there's a few things. The floor also has to be sealed, and they're mostly just wanting to make sure that you're not going to be cross-contaminating. They're going to look at how I set up and make sure everything is up to code. But they're not going to come and check it out if it's just like this place in the house. They want to make sure that the place where I'm going to be tattooing is zoned correctly, for one. But
And will your signage have just your name, or is there a business name?
it would just be my name. So my name for my tattoo is ZB Tax. So that is my name, but I think I'm answering your question correctly. Like the sign that would be on my building would just be like ZB Tax. Yeah.
I think my question is for the zoning for the township, under that NEST code that he's running his business, is that applicable for that area of the township?
The NAICS codes?
Yeah, the NEST codes.
There's a list of permitted uses.
And is that a part of the permitted uses in the
In
township?
the FR1, they don't use NAICS codes. I don't remember exactly what's in there, but yeah, there's no NAICS code requirement in the permitted uses for
Okay.
FR1. So we're working under the conditional uses, allowed conditional uses under.
So that's not applicable to this
Correct.
case?
Do you have a sense of the size of the sign you're talking about?
I actually don't know yet. So I wouldn't really advertise on the road. What I'm more interested in is, if this were to be approved and clients were to pull on a driveway, because it is a quarter-mile long, I would like to put a sign like on the actual structure of the building that lets them know that when they pull in, this is the right place. So it wouldn't be big. I mean, it would probably only be from when you park and you can read it from your car. I'm not interested in like catching anybody's attention from the road or anything.
What type of lighting and outside lighting will change to impact this business?
I don't really plan on using any lighting for the sign. It would probably just be like a standard parking sign. Like if you were to pull in, no bigger than like a handicap sign.
I mean, so just to be clear, in the zoning regulation, section 25.02, we have standards for signage. Your sign can't be any bigger than 4 by 6.
Okay.
And it can't be above the grade of the surrounding yard.
Okay.
We would expect that.
What's up?
We would expect
for that as
Applications
well.
will sign. Once you figure it out.
Going on the lighting piece of it, what are the hours of operation that you're planning to have?
Okay, so I operate from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's like usually what time that I'm at work. So, Monday through Thursday.
And those would be the same hours at this location too?
Yes.
Any other questions from the board? Larry, any questions?
No.
All right, well, thank you, and I'll invite public testimony at this time. If there's anyone in the public that has any commentary, any questions, feel free to do so now. And if you would like to come, please, swear yourself in as well. We'd like to know your name and your address if you're planning to do so.
I'll get started.
Why don't we do this? Anybody that wants to talk, let's get sworn in now, so we don't have to do this next year.
Okay. Who else is talking? All of us.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear from the tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. So my name is Thomas Wyatt. I reside on Linda Lane, 6724 is my address. And I guess the testimony I'd like to offer is last May I purchased a lovely home in a residential area, backing up to a driveway with 2 residential houses behind it. And this proposed change would materially change that. So when I look out all of the windows of the back of my house, I look at this particular piece of property and the pool house in question. So that is, I think, unique to me. I think, based on my limited research here, that the proposal would be incompatible with residential zoning. In fact, Berlin Township has commercial zoning for this purpose. And it should limit conditional uses to only those that preserve the residential character of the property. Further, the Berlin zoning resolution indicates that home occupations must be incidental, subordinate, and without significant adverse effect on the neighborhood. And this particular change would have an adverse effect on my home and many of those neighborhoods, since you do back up to this property. A number of the answers that were given to the questions that were raised, I think were not given in light of my perspective or my neighbor's perspectives. So Mr. Bethel said that the business would not be seen by anyone. That is true if you're driving up through B's and a K, which is where his address is. That is not true if you're standing in my kitchen looking out the back of my house, because we would be, in fact, seeing this business. That concerned me as it relates to the parking, the sign, traffic, specifically dust and noise in this particular case. And Mr. Bethel also indicated he's planning on keeping this Columbus space, which is zoned commercial and is intended to run a business out of. And so I guess that would be my final comment, is I'd ask this committee to consider that and the impact that it would have on our residential homes that do back up to this particular piece of property. Thank you.
I'm Kevin Lehman, and I'm at 6756 Linda Lane. And my first concern is if this appeal is allowed, what else may be allowed down the road because of the precedent set by allowing this to happen? And then the second item was who would police the by appointment only? That would be a concern. And then who would also police the proper disposal of the items? I mean, they say they'll take care of it, and he may do that, but I don't know who's going to police all that kind of stuff. And then if there's just for close family and friends, I'm not sure why signage would be needed. He said it would just be very limited, one person at a time, family and friends, so I don't know why signage would be required there. So those are some of my concerns that we have. at this point.
You know, I'm Robert Farber at 475 North Beason Kid. I'm one of the property owners, been in our family surrounding Mr. Bethel. We've been in the area for over 40 years. I personally lived there for 26 years. We were just a little surprised to hear of the zoning request, but we've had some conversations with the Bethels since then. We expressed that we wanted the beauty of our property back there is the quietness and the preservation of our natural surroundings, but a bit to stay in. Most people don't even know that we're back there, so my concerns are having strangers coming down our driveway, and the lack of some privacy that we've had back there. I want to reiterate that this is a common access driveway. I know at one point in the responses it said it was a private drive, but there's no private drive out to B's and K. And my other concern would just be having any signage on the road or on the driveway. So those were my big concerns. And the other concern would be, is this, and I think he brought it up as well, that is this a zoning for ever, or is this just for this business, and can it be transferred if the property is sold? We don't want to have inviting more people in if this didn't work out and the zoning did change. We like our rural quietness back there, so we'd like to keep it that way.
I'm Rod Lawrence. My home is at 6788 Linda Lane. I've got kind of two parts to my comments. One is sort of some general comments, and then I'd like to go through the specific considerations, just a few of those. I want to make sure that everybody understands the configuration of the properties here. So again, and if I can just kind of draw it in the air, you've got 3Bs and K, you've got Linda Lane coming back with houses coming to the south off Linda Lane. You have their common access driveway, which runs immediately adjacent to the south end of those lots where the houses are built on Linda Lane. So their driveway goes right along the property lines, the back ends of the lots along Linda Lane. Their home is back, as he said, off of 3Bs and K, back off that, he said, a gravel driveway. But it is right behind all of those homes, essentially in the backyard of all of those homes along Linda Lane. Some, it's a little bit more directly behind all those homes than other homes, but the driveway is right behind there, the house is right behind there, and all that. So, again, the conclusion is, no, this is not a compatible use consistent with the current zoning. It necessarily will result in increased traffic. It requires customers to enter onto the premises and drive back the gravel driveway to get to the business. Uniquely, that traffic is going to flow to and from immediately, as I said, adjacent to the rear of the properties of all of these homes, and they are upscale, homes. And as I said, the configuration is necessarily going to result in increased traffic as a result of the customers coming to and from. And this is, as described, this is pretty darn near a full-time business that we're talking about. It's 10 to 5, 4 days a week. But it is going to be a disruption of the residential character of the area. It's going to increase, I believe, and I'm going to say it, I believe it's going to increase the possibility of criminal activity. And the reason I say that is not because it's a tattoo parlor. It's because it's going to be increased traffic of strangers driving along behind these houses to and from, getting with a vantage point. And I don't believe that they're all gonna be friends and family, he advertises his business online. And, you know, that's the fact of the matter, it's a business. I do think, though, it's a reality to assert on my part, allege on my part, that there is a stigma to a tattoo parlor. And I think it will have, certainly, a devaluing effect on the homes in the area. Especially if there's signage that says, welcome to this tattoo artist's facility. But let me go on to, like I said, the other things I want to comment here to the specific considerations. There was a comment that nobody's going to see this because it's too far back off the road. Well, that point's been covered. All the residents along Linda Lane are going to see it right out their back door. You know, he says no one's going to be able to see the sign. Again, the way this home and the adjacent facility is configured, it's right on a ravine to the south. There's not parking along behind that. All the other homes are to the north. A sign is going to be visible, parking is going to be visible. People walking from the parking is in front of their garage in the main home. If they walk across through the pool area, all that's going to be visible to the people in the lane. One of the things that again, this is a gravel driveway. Cars going to and from are going to, you know, when it's dry, cause dust and noise and all that kind of thing. One of the things I'm curious about is the waste, I would assume, involves materials that have bodily fluids on them. This is a tattoo business. And I wonder if the trash companies will knowingly take trash that has what could be qualified as hazardous materials. And you know, that's the reason why the health district requires sealed floors and certain paint on the walls, is because this is a tattoo parlor. And this requires special treatment of the facility and the trash and everything else. And like I said, this kind of goes along with what I said with regard to the stigma about this. That's the reality of it. No matter what you think about it, and I think society has changed with regard to it's more accepting of tattoos, and it's not abnormal or peculiar or anything like that. And I've seen his art. I looked at the website. He does really, really nice work. But I think in a matter of months, there's going to be commercial space for rent right down the road. And I think that's a much better place for a business like this than in our neighborhood.
Any other public testimony? Any other commentary? I just want to reinforce again, the BZA's job is not to determine whether or not this is desirable. It's to evaluate the applicant's conditional use relative to our zoning resolution. And so that's what we're going to evaluate as the board deliberates relative to this.
Should we let him respond to their comments?
Yeah.
There's one in particular I'd like to respond to about signage. It does make sense. I don't really plan on having strangers in my home or letting them know where I live. I would be willing to forfeit of signage. I mean, they can just call me or text me. These people have either been to my house before, or I would invite them over for dinner anyways. The signage was just something that I didn't think about until I saw it on the application that one would be allowed. But I assure you that they would know they would know that they're in the right place. I would be welcoming them as they come. So I mean, there wouldn't be any signage. I wouldn't do that.
Can you tell us a little bit more about his comments, the last
About the
waste?
The waste, yeah. So there
I'm picturing, for example, you have to have special containers for all this stuff as opposed to it being in a general trash can.
So as far as the Delaware Health Department, I actually don't have that answer. As far as the Columbus Health Department, which I have been working in compliance with for 4 to 5 years now, there is no difference between a dirty diaper as far as like bodily fluids and what I would be using and throwing away. Now there is a separate sharps container for needles and things like that, like razors and anything that could be dangerous to just pick up. There actually is a place to dispose of those. Some local fire departments have them. As of right now, where I'm at, the shop, the space that I'm renting, they actually take care of that for me. So I don't really have, personally, I don't know anybody who thinks that that's an issue as far as like people taking bodily fluids or trash cans all the time. It's not like, I don't think it's a problem. I've never been asked or been told by anybody, by any health department has ever asked me that. What they're looking for is the sharps, which are the needles that I use, and the razors that I use, which I dispose of that way.
And how many clients a day do you see with your current schedule?
One.
And how
Sometimes
long
it's the
does the experience last?
10 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're full day sessions. So I have one client a day. Sometimes it's the same client all 4 days in a row. But most of the time it's just four clients a week. And like I said before, I don't really intend to have all 4 clients there a week. I still want to maintain a space for clients that I'm unsure of, or I don't know, or I don't want them to come to my house or know my home address with my kids and my wife. But I do have a lot of long-term clients that have become friends, and I do tattoo a lot of friends and family. You know, they already know where I live, and they already come over all the time. But it'd be cool to have a space within my own house to do that safely and with compliance with the township and the Department of Health. So.
And then there was another thing, in the application from the staff report, there was a picture, because it was noted that it wasn't a private driveway, but
That was
the
my
picture,
mistake. Yeah, that's
the
my
picture,
mistake.
well, but in the picture that was provided by the staff,
Yeah.
the second picture does, on the sign it says private driveway. Is that of this residence,
That's the common access.
the common access driveway?
Yes, this is the common access driveway, that's outside.
And that's my
And how
mistake,
many
right?
homes?
There are 2 homes, I believe, on this driveway.
Okay,
Okay, one more comment about the driveway.
but
Oh, sorry.
is it okay for him to speak now? Because we were still with him, with the applicant.
Yeah, do you have anything else to add on your side?
Oh, no. I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I just had another comment about the driveway. I knew it was mentioned about dust and stuff. We did spend, quite a bit of money 3 years ago putting a chip and seal on that, so we don't have a lot of dust. It's got the 1 inch or 1.5 inch layer of asphalt on it. If it breaks, it falls apart, but, I did want to just clarify that.
We live in a dust ball in this township right now.
Yeah.
So I think
Understood.
there's 3 of us here that know for sure that there's a dust ball that hangs over this end of the township. So.
Can I just follow up on the first question I asked? So can you guys provide feedback on what kind of precedent would it set to allow other businesses in the area if this is allowed? Because they'll say, well, you allowed this, so I want to do this, and it's going to be by appointment only. You know, so
Everyone
That
could.
would be getting into speculation about future events, which we will not discuss at the table.
And we evaluate, on the merit. So again, this case is like as any other case that gets brought before the BZA gets evaluated on the merit of that case and what's been presented, right? Because not every case is created equal.
I actually do have a question. In answer to, I think, what somebody else had spoken about, like, is this a conditional use that can only be used for me? Or like, if we decide to sell the home in like 10 years, does that zoning then return back to the original, or?
I think this is just for you. I think some of the language I saw earlier, am I correct?
Like a conditional use?
It is just, it's your application to do this
Yeah.
This
role, and it doesn't pass on to anybody.
Yeah, the zoning regulation says the conditional use permit applies to the applicant, will expire upon sale of the property.
Right.
I just wanted to clarify that.
I do have one question. since we mentioned the common access driveway. is that-
Chris, do you want to identify yourself just for the record?
Chris Reiner, counsel for the board.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Those who wish to do that. Is the driveway subject to a common access driveway agreement? Yes. Does anybody have a copy of that?
Don't have it here, but you have it.
I'd be curious to see what the terms of that common access driveway say.
I can provide that. Yeah, you probably should have had that as part of closing documents, because I had Julie did that. Okay.
Any further commentary? Any other further questions from the board from a deliberation perspective? I'm going to ask that we take a quick recess so we can, and we'll come back in a few moments, okay?
Sure.
Right, we're back. It's official, we're back. So, I appreciate patience here. So, you know, the board's deliberated a little bit about this, and we did have some further thoughts. And so with that in mind, I wanted to see if there are any motions to be made.
After deliberation, I'd like to make a motion to continue BZA number CU 26-004 to give the applicant time to come up and show us a copy of the shared driveway agreement, just to make sure that's good, and a little more information from the Delaware County Health Department.
And specifically, the health district stuff, what is some of the questions that the neighbors were asking about in terms of waste disposal? You know, what are the requirements for tattoo shop and all that is in Delaware General?
Gotcha. So does that mean that's something you're for me right now?
But so we're going to continue to another date, so you give you time to get that.
I understand.
And the reason for the ask of the drive agreement is we don't know what's in there, right? And so we don't want to rule on this without understanding what that is.
Okay.
So that, may I have a second on that motion then?
I'll second.
Or we continue it to a certain date?
I say if you provide that information, how much time to fill it? Oh, like a week, that'd be enough time to get it out to everybody. Yeah. If you can provide that a week, they gotta pick a date, but if you provide that information a week before whatever the continued hearing date is, that way it will give everyone a chance to take a look at it before.
And the meeting has to be, does it have to be advertised again?
Not if it's, it says table to date or continued.
So we need to pick a date. You know,
Are there any Thursdays available? Thursdays are usually.
16th to 23rd.
July.
I'm not here this 16th, so I cannot do that.
Would it be at 7 o'clock again?
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
So is the 9th good for you?
Yes, the 9th would work.
Does that work for you, Lisa?
Yes, I think that looks like it. The second,
Second Thursday.
yeah, that should be good for July.
As of right now, I did not get a confirmation on that date, as I recall, so yes, I believe that is okay. So, you got to be first.
I won't be here, but it's okay. Just Steve steps in.
Just what?
I'll be here as well.
So, July 9th for continuation,
At 7 PM.
7 p.m.
Okay, and that was Mr. Cook that made the motion?
Yes.
And then, was there a second? Larry? Or
Yes, ma'am.
which one? Quinn or Larry?
The kind of the topic.
Okay, Quinn, all right.
Since he'll be here for the next go around.
Okay, Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Mackin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes. So, relative to BZA CU 2604, we have a continuance, date defined of July 9th at 7 p.m. And applicant, we're asking you to come back with the agreement, common drive agreement, and any of the details from Delaware Health District or Health Department.
And if you can get that info to Philip, like, we'll get around July 2nd.
I'll just get that to you as soon as possible.
And so with that being said, I'm going to close off this portion of the hearing for BZA CU 2604, and I appreciate everybody's commentary and testimony today. So that portion is done. At this point, I'm gonna ask for an approval of our BZA minutes from 5/14/2026. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at them?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the BZA minutes from 5/14/26.
Can I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, Mr. Mackin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Herman? Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes. And is there any other matters from staff? Any other? Hold on, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn, and then if there's nothing else.
Thank you.
You didn't have any storm, like, they're waiting on, waiting, are you in a condo? You moved? No, are you serious? Why?
She said something about you here at the office. They don't have that. She said something about you here at the office.
You can ask
Oh, wow, okay. Which one? Oh, at the, townhouses, townhomes?
No, these are like flat.
At Evans Farm? Oh, are they before back? Yeah. Oh, was, wait, where was she before that? She was there.
Yeah, she's making a track.
I think we have like parties in here.
Wait, Michelle. Michelle.
Whatever Michelle's site.